Billions of people worldwide have been vaccinated against COVID without experiencing significant problems. The vast majority of these people don't post about their experiences, create social media content, or share their non-stories. Meanwhile, the tiny fraction who experience complications, real or perceived, dominate online discussion. This creates massively distorted perception of vaccine risk through survivorship bias. Survivorship bias is when we only see success cases or dramatic failures while unremarkable outcomes stay invisible. The classic example is studying bullet holes in returning aircraft to determine where to add armor, until someone realized planes shot in other locations didn't return to be studied. We see what survives the selection process, missing what's absent. With vaccination, dramatic stories naturally capture attention. Someone who develops concerning symptoms after vaccination, whether causally related or coincidental, will seek information, support, and answers. They'll find or create online communities with others having similar experiences. They'll share their stories, often repeatedly. This is completely understandable human behavior. Suffering seeks connection and explanation. But let's look at the mathematics. If 5 billion people worldwide were vaccinated and even 1,000%, 0.001%, had notable adverse events, that's 50,000 people. 50,000 individuals is enough for thousands of viral social media posts, hours of YouTube testimonials, packed online support groups. It creates an impression of widespread harm. Yet those 50,000 represent an infinitesimal fraction. 99.999% experienced no significant problems. For every dramatic adverse event story circulating online, imagine millions of people with no story to tell because nothing happened. They got vaccinated, maybe felt tired for a day, and moved on with their lives. This produces no content, generates no engagement, triggers no algorithm promotion. The absence of drama is invisible. Online community dynamics amplify this bias. Vaccine-injured support groups provide valuable mutual aid and validation for people experiencing suffering, real or perceived. But they also create echo chambers where individual experiences get magnified into seeming epidemic. When everyone in your information bubble is discussing adverse events, it feels like everyone everywhere is affected, when actually you're in a selected sample of the tiny minority with problems. Algorithms worsen this. Social media platforms promote engaging content, and nothing engages like fear and grievance. Your feed shows you what drives clicks, which means dramatic stories about harm get priority over the boring reality of millions of uneventful vaccinations. If you interact with vaccine injury content, you'll see vastly more of it, creating a distorted information environment where harms seem ubiquitous. The empathy challenge here is real. Individual suffering matters regardless of frequency. People experiencing adverse events, whether causally linked to vaccines or coincidental, deserve compassion, medical care, and validation. Their experiences are real to them. But validating individual suffering doesn't require accepting that rare experiences represent population-level risk. We can hold both truths. Your individual experience of post-vaccination health problems is real and deserves care, and the statistical evidence shows this is extraordinarily rare, not representative of typical outcomes. These aren't contradictory, they're different levels of analysis. Individual and population perspectives both matter. Survivorship bias applies far beyond vaccination. We hear about plane crashes, not the millions of safe flights daily. We see shark attack news, not the billions of safe ocean swims. Dramatic failures capture attention while unremarkable success stays invisible. This systematically distorts our risk perception across domains. Countering survivorship bias requires conscious effort to remember the invisible majority. For every viral story about post-vaccine complications, actively imagine the millions whose experience was utterly unremarkable. Seek out base rate information. What percentage actually experienced this? Rather than just collecting anecdotes, recognize that support groups and discussion forums select for problems, not typical outcomes. This isn't about dismissing suffering. It's about accurate risk perception. Understanding survivorship bias helps us evaluate evidence appropriately, recognizing that what's most visible isn't necessarily most common, and that the silent majority's unremarkable experiences matter just as much statistically as the vocal minority's dramatic ones.